Hey there, and welcome back for card number 3 of my April 2022 New Horizons product class. Keep bringing my head into shot there, which I apologise for. It's so dark in this room, I have had to turn an overhead light on. And I know that a lot of you are starting to receive your kits in the mail, so I need to get these videos done today. Anyway, so this is card number 3. Hopefully that's not too bad to see. A nice little one. I thought I'd better add some femininity to this class, so we're actually going for the gorgeous grape and the pinks and ribbon and bow and all those things that we love in our feminine cards. It's a quite unusual fold, this one. It's a gate. I suppose you'd call it a gate, but it's a gate with the two, I don't know if you can tell there, the two gates, the two flaps at the front are of different sizes. The one on the right is a straight 2-inch long, and I think the one on the left is 2 1/4. So it's quite unusual. It's a bit throws you a bit with the gates being slightly overlapping like that. So the bigger one goes at the top, which will be something very important to remember when we get to putting the sentiment and the ribbon on, that the larger gate is the top folding one. Okay, so we have gorgeous grape cardstock. We have the beautiful but now sadly retired gorgeous grape ribbon, and we have the also really handy but now sadly retired stitched sentiment boxes from the Happy Hippo dies. So this sadly is the last time you'll see those used in one of my classes. I actually popped it into the retiring sets to be sold, so I'm going to sort of send that to someone who will get some use out of it going forward. Okay, so that's our card. That's what we're going to start with. As far as cutting this one's even easier than the others that we've done. We're using this one here, which is just basically cloudy skies with pink and blue and all very watercolory sort of ink splodge type pattern. That's the one you want for this card. The other side has the sort of the normal for this pack anyway, sort of distance skyline in the distance there, but it's quite pretty. Not much to it as far as pattern's concerned, but very pretty. But as I say, we're going to be using this one here. There is another one in the set, in the pack, that would be just as nice if you would prefer. It's quite dark. So you could use it with the colours that we've used, and I have to find it. Is it the blue? No. Anyway, it's a really dark, this one. This one would be really nice with it as well. It's got everything from Blackberry Bliss right through to the lighter pinks as well. So yeah, you could use that one, but I'm going to use this one here because I think it goes nicely with the gorgeous grape cardstock. Okay, so let's do the cutting first. I'll bring my trimmer in. So this one is pretty easy because it really doesn't have what you'd call a top or a bottom. So you can choose basically which side you want to cut the trim the amount off. You actually want to trim it to being 5 1/4 inches long, so high. So whatever decide you're going to trim some part off, so you need to leave 5 1/4 inches. So you're going to trim off, what's that, must be 3/4 of an inch there. Then what you need to do is just cut 2 pieces, and you're not going to use the whole sheet, so you'll have some left over. You want one panel, and it doesn't even matter that they might not line up. You need one mat that is 1 3/4 wide, and you need another one that is 2 inches wide. And as I say, that's what we've talked about, the fact that the gates of this card are slightly, they're not symmetrical, so one's slightly skinnier than the other. So you basically ended up with 2 inches wide, 1 3/4 inches wide, and they're both 5 1/4 tall or long. Okay, so we'll pop this one together. So you've got your card base here. So it's there. So as you can see, as we mentioned, one side is longer than the other. And you need to keep the wider gate, the wider door, to your left. So that's going to go on the left-hand side. So keep that in mind all the time. I might actually just score those a wee bit. so they close down a bit easier. Okay, again, we have a panel for inside. This is actually a 4-inch wide card, so hopefully your panel for the inside should be 3 7/8. I know I chugged along happily cutting kits for a while and made these panels 4 inches wide, which means they were too wide. I think I trimmed them all down, so if you've got one that's snuck through at 4 inches, you will probably have to cut 1/8 of an inch off just to make it fit the inside of this card. Pop that there, and so that's the inside there. Okay, got that out of the way. Okay, so as I mentioned, now we've got, that was Gorgeous Grape. This is grey granite, I believe, I think. And again, you can see you've got one that's slightly wider than the other one. So the slightly wider one is going to go on our right-hand side with our slightly wider piece of Designer Series paper. And again, hopefully I've done all my measurements correctly. But this one, this wider panel of Designer Series paper should fit within the grey granite, which it does. And then this should fit on the left-hand gate or flap. And yes, it does. Phew. Please let me know if anything doesn't work with my kits. I'd rather know and fix it for you than have you, you know, feeling dissatisfied and not coming back for another card class. I'd rather have happy customers who keep coming back than if you just disappear and I don't know why. We're just doing the right-hand side one now, so we're lining up the Designer Series paper, the 1 3/4 wide one, onto its grey granite. And then we're going to pop that on the other side, on the other door. Oh, obviously didn't burnish that quite enough. Got glue everywhere. So it popped up at me. Okay, so I might grab a wipe, just give that a bit of a, remove a bit of excess glue. Okay, so that's the fundamental part of our card already done. So it just folds closed like that. Now, the fun part though is the ribbon that we use to keep the card closed, sort of fold it closed. This would make a wonderful, I was thinking about it when I was doing it, a wonderful, what was the word? Gift card holder, if you just wanted to put a little pocket in there for a gift card. I think because it folds, it actually sort of, what's the word? It ties closed. It's actually a bit more of a ceremony to open it. So to have a gift card inside would be nice, I think. Okay, so we're going to use our soon to be forgotten Happy Hippo dies, and I'm going to stamp the sentiment. I'm going to swap sets now. I'm not going to use the art gallery that I used before. I'm using Plentiful Plants. It's got a lovely range of sentiments on there, and I've used them a lot. Even when I'm not using the plants, I use the sentiments. I'm going to use a little note with the biggest thanks. And I am this time going to, if I can find it, there we are. I am this time going to stamp it in something other than black. I'm going to stamp this one in Gorgeous Grape because I think it just lifts the whole affair. And as I say, we're going for feminine this time, just to show that this paper can be used for those occasions. So a little note with the biggest thanks. And as I said, it would make a perfect gift card holder if that's what you wanted to do. Stamp that a little bit low and a little bit crooked. As I say, it's hard when you're trying to keep your head out of shot and keep the shadows at bay, but anyway, that's fine. Yours will be a lot straighter than that, I'm sure. Now, pop that onto the gorgeous grape backing. And this is where you might have to watch a little bit more carefully and then go back to your cards. We're going to pop the ribbon on. So the ribbon, you should have about 1/2 metre of ribbon per card. So if you've done the half set, you'll have 1/2 metre of ribbon. If you're doing the full set, you'll have a full metre. And you're going to need it because it needs to wrap all the way around and then have enough left over for a bow. What I'm going to do first of all is, what I'm going to do first of all is grab some double-sided tape. I'm going to lay that where we want the ribbon halfway up. I'm going to just pop some double-sided tape across the back. And this is just going to hold the ribbon in place across the back. Makes it easier for us to do the rest of what we need to do, but it also will stop it from falling down. Then we have to work out, you have to work out halfway is not going to do it because we actually want the tie of our bow over to the right hand side. So the best thing to do is to grab your card. You've got your double-sided tape on there, loop the ribbon around, position the card roughly where it is, and then bring the left hand side over to the right hand side and just make sure that you've got they roughly line up on the left hand side, on the right hand side, if you see what I mean. So I've got all my ribbon out to the right hand side. So that's where I want the ribbon to stick. So I'll just make sure that's pretty much stuck pretty well there. And because it's double-sided tape and it's ribbon, you can bring it up and down a bit to get it in the right position. But as I say, don't position it halfway through the ribbon because you're going to end up with not enough here to tie your bow. So you want it to loop around and both ends to match here at the right hand end. Hopefully that makes sense. So watch that a couple of times before you jump in. Okay, so then what we're going to do is grab our sentiment box and we're going to pop that over the ribbon. So we're actually going to glue it and trap the ribbon on that left hand side. So we're going to glue just the left hand side of our sentiment box, glue it to the the broader of our 2 front gates, and that'll trap that ribbon in and it'll flow out underneath. So what you can do is grab your glue, pop it just on the left hand half, position your ribbon where you want it, and then bring in the sentiment box to trap it in place. So you want that sentiment box to look like it's sitting in the middle of your card. So the same distance left and right to the edge. Hopefully that makes sense. And as straight as you possibly can. So that's what we've done. We've actually popped it on there. We've trapped our ribbon underneath so it's not moving anywhere now because it's all glued in there in one sort of piece. And we've got that piece of our sentiment box that's sort of floating free over the top there. So really all you need to do now is just grab the 2 ends of your ribbon, and you'll see now why I said you need more over this right hand side. Just grab your ribbon and tie a bow, and hopefully you've got enough to tie a bow. I think 50 centimetres is plenty, and that sort of stops your card from flipping open. And as I say, it adds just that little bit of extra something special if you wanted to put a Mother's Day card or something in there, just like that. Okay, so it keeps it closed and it's quite cute as well. There we are. Oh, the last thing we have to do is add our bling. So you should have some rhinestones there. You should have 3 rhinestones. For some reason I've given myself 4, but that's okay. I'm only going to use 3. And just pop those around the place however you like them. I always tend to end up in a triangle when I put my bling on. I can't avoid it. It's just the way it goes. I always end up in some sort of triangle configuration, which I'm told is the accepted way. So we'll pop one on there as well. Oh, go on. Okay, and that is card number 3. As I say, and then you can basically undo the ribbon and it opens up really nicely. And as I say, if you had like a gift card in there just attached in a little pocket or something like that, I think this would make quite a wonderful sort of combined card and gift card holder. I'll just do that bow again. I don't know why I'm voluntarily doing another bow. You guys know I don't like bows. Bows don't like me. But anyway, practice makes perfect. You might need to trim those little ends down if you've got too much, if you only want a small bow. But there you are. So that's card number 3 and we're done. That is our class done for April. Finally got April out of the way. We can move on to May now. Got our April New Horizons class all done and dusted. Thanks again for taking this class. I hope you enjoyed it. As I say, if there's anything you find that's not right or not cut right or missing, please let me know and I will put it right for you. I hope to see you back for next month or the future classes. If you are watching this in YouTube after the event, please let me know if you'd like to do my classes. They're open to anyone who lives in Australia. Demonstrator, customer, I don't mind. Anyone can take part in my classes. We feature a product every month which will help you build your stash and hopefully learn some great techniques. Okay, so thanks very much, guys. Thanks again for joining this class, and I will see you all next time.